Yo, what's the deal? It's your boy K9, aka No Fear Entertainment in the building. Back once again with another live. As you guys can see, man, we got a different live setup this time. All things entertainment. We most definitely trying to bring it to you guys. So I'm pretty excited to be working on something new. And right before I start, I want to give a special shout out to my guy, BVLE. Because it's a lot of times behind the scenes, it's people that, you know, really help um, Camp Nine push the limits and challenge to work on different things and really just mean all the just really work hard behind the scenes. So shout out to BVille. You know what I mean? So anyway, we got a live, man. This live is called Ask an NBA Player. So I don't know about you guys personally. I never had a chance to have a conversation with an NBA player and get to pick his brain and ask him some questions. So on this segment, we will be having a special guest here, and he's an NBA player, a former NBA player, and get to pick his brain, ask him some questions, and hopefully turns out to be a dope interview. You know what I'm saying? So talk to me, man. It's your boy. You already know. Um, so I've been excited. I actually was supposed to do this live. I was gonna do it last week. I had some stuff come up, so I just wanted to bang this out and see what happens. Now, when this got bought to me, I'm not gonna lie. I'm always like, yo, I'm trying to not to put myself in a box, right? And so I always want to work on stuff that's I just find that's entertaining. And so a lot of the conversations we have, you know, when we be having that locker room talk, but I always said that I didn't want to get stuck in a box and I wanted to do something more with my channel and push myself and challenge myself. So that's what we are doing. So with all that, without further ado, let's get to the first super chat of the eve. My guy Super Trooper in the building says I'm here. Salute. And I'm here. So, shout out to Super Trooper in the building, man. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you pulling up, showing love and support, man. I really appreciate you. And Super Trooper, hopefully, I don't know, did you get your stuff situated yet? Because I think my stuff is situated. I was able to get those things, kinks worked out. So I'm excited that I was not only able to do this live, um, I was also able to get my channel back monetized. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm gonna drop the link for my guest. And if you're not my guest, please don't hit the link at the moment. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna shout you guys out real quick, and I'm gonna drop the link. He says, "Salute K9. That commercial must be a great sign." Yeah, man. I mean, we back, man. We back. Like I said, I'm one of those dudes, bro. I don't cry. I don't make excuses. Hard work and dedication, man. Just keep working, 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 and grinding. And to be successful, man, you gotta be resilient, and you can't little things, big things popping, little things stop it, but nothing gonna stop me. You know what I'm saying? That is the mindset I have. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me get the link. Let me drop this link from my guest. So he boom. And then hold on. All right, cool. All right, so I dropped the link, and so we're just waiting for my guest to show up, and we'll get on with the. All right, so until he gets here, let me give everybody a shout out. Shout out to Racket Club in the building. You know what I'm saying? Salute, salute. Congratulations. I appreciate it, man. It's been a long time, man. Been a long time. It was pretty tough, and but we have made some adjustments, and I think it was a good thing. It was bittersweet, but we're making it happen, man. No excuses, bro. You know what I mean? Uh, it says the travel POV in the building. It says, what up, K9? What up, travel POV, man? This is actually, like I said, a good day for me because I get to do a different style interview, and I got my channel back monetized. So we back in full effect. You know what I'm saying? And we're just gonna keep working, man. We're just gonna keep working, man. I remember, like, some people look at the glass half full, and some people look at the glass empty. It's really up to you. It's really up to you. You know what I'm saying? So you can sit here and you know It's really up to you, and you gotta have that mentality of like, failure is not an option. So anyway, I don't want to make this about me. So I'm just thinking about it like I'm excited about this because I wanted to do this interview and not only do like this form interview, maybe catch some celebrity interviews and and just steer my channel in a little bit different direction. You know what they say, man, don't fall asleep at the wheel. You know what I'm saying? Do not fall asleep at the wheel. Gotta allow the says gotta allow the super chats, K9. Wait, does it show the that the super chat is available? Let me look. Let me look, man. I haven't even looked. I just know that um, you know, for the most part we should be all right, you know what I'm saying? It might not kicked in yet. Oh yeah, I seen it right there. Wait, hold on. What? Okay, what we doing, man? What we doing? Let me see. Wait, did I see it? I thought I seen it. All right. I don't know. All right, cool. Well, it'll be back on at some point. Okay, they up on your phone? Okay. All right, cool. All right, cool. So I'm happy, man. We back, man. I seen some people have already joined the members again. Thank you, man. Because we were up to about 49 members. And then you know what happened? Things happened and we went down to like basically zero. So like the members have already started picking back up. I want to thank you guys so much, man, for showing some support. Please don't make me cry. I gotta get through this interview, man. Feels good though, man. Okay, he says the travel POV just became a member. Thank you, man. I really, really, really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it, man. The members, super chats, man, it's all appreciated. You know what I'm saying? He says they up on my phone. Okay, Bville. So some people are getting them. Some people ain't got it right now, but we're gonna get it, man. I really, really appreciate it though. Just know that much. So we all do a good start. We got the members in, and we just got to get the super chat working, man. So I'm excited, man. I don't know, like I've never been a dude that's been like super emotional. Well, I mean like where I just showed it or wore it on my sleeves. But so if it's not coming through enough, I gotta stop being so tough, man, and just embrace some moments sometimes. Like I just in life, man, I've always had to have a tough exterior, man, but it does feel good sometimes to be able to, man, you know what I'm saying? Like just to just take it in, man, and just be, you work so hard on building your channel or whatever you're doing in life. And so I always take the mindset moving forward though. Things don't happen to me, they happen for me. And since this happened, it was like a fork in the road. I had a choice to make. Was this going to be something that took me to the next level or something that was going to break me down? And so in life, we got choices to make. And so since then, it just seemed like doors been opening for me. But I do realize it's still going to be hard work and a grind. And you got to really, this is just the beginning, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like if I could keep up the work ethic, I mean, the performance and all of that, and just staying creative and, staying motivated to get out here and compete, which I always am, you know what I'm saying? Oh no, we got another. Okay, I see the love. I feel it. Thank you so much. We're getting some of our members back. Thank you so much. He says, I appreciate it. And we got another new member, Melissa, aka Chicana Corner. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I don't know how hard we be working. And that's why I say I can't wait till we get my guy, my good friend, Super Trooper, back in effect, man. And we rally around Super Trooper because, we got to get him back in the race, man. Because you guys don't know how when these things happen, it could be a blow to the tower. I'm not going to lie. But, if you see your brother and he feeling a little down, you got to grab him up like, come on, let's go. We can't give up, man. We didn't came too far. Let's get this party on the road. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stay motivated, man, because one thing I realized when I was in a situation, momentum is everything. So if you're a poor sport and you let that momentum fade, that's failure can settle in and stick. You know what I'm saying? So the momentum is everything, man. You gotta have that drive, man. And that's why for me in my life have been up and down, very turbulent. And so now I try my best to encourage my brothers. If I see a brother down, to try to like, yo, come on, man, we can do this, bro. Don't give up. Let's go. Let's get more. Let's show them how we do it, man. Let's show them how we don't give up. We don't quit. We don't make excuses. We look for solutions and we make something happen. My favorite line that ever came from somebody, Patrick Mahomes. Y'all know I'm a big Chiefs fan. We're going to find a way to win and drag our tails across the finish line. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it's about, man. And so, you know, we really just gotta. I just really want to be a beacon of light. I said that from the beginning. I want to be a beacon of light to show you, okay, I'm up here, I'm in a good mood, things is going great. But when the chips is down, that I'm still the same OG, man. I'm still grinding, I'm still working. All right, let me drop the link again from my guest. Here we go. Let me see. Drop the link. Boom, boom, boom. All right, hopefully we won't have too many technical difficulties, but either way it go, we're going to work through it. We're definitely going to work through it, you know what I'm saying? And we're always, you never know what trick we might have up our sleeves, but, you know, it's always sometimes technical difficulties, but you got to work through them. Now, I will say if, well, I didn't set mine up on dual, so it should be good. All right, cool. So we got a new member in the building. My guy CJ, let's go. What up, CJ? Thank you, bro. Salute, man. He says gifted K9 No Fear Entertainment membership. He's gifted a membership. When I tell you the guy is gifted a membership, he's gifted a membership. Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. And like I said, man, oh my goodness. When you're going down this road, man, you like honestly, because success is not promised, right? You say K9 really is blind, LOL. What did I miss? So there we go. New member. It says gifted one membership. What did I miss? And he says, but anyway, thank you so much, CJ. I am Brian. Let me actually put my glasses on, excuse me, for this live, because y'all know I be struggling, man. So I do need to put these on real quick. Let me see. Boom. All right, we back. We looking crystal clear now. So drop the link again. I dropped the link again. Bville. I don't know if I need to try to send it to you personally, or let's see if I could even pin the link. Let me see. It's green. I'm in green. Okay. Super Trooper. Did I not get your name? Or did I skip you? My bad. Super Trooper. Thank you for becoming a member. Let's go. Yeah, I didn't have my glasses on. And, you know, I was all excited and stuff. So I probably I did not mean to look over you, brother. Thank you, Super Trooper. I appreciate you, man. I really, really do, man. And y'all stay on the lookout for my guy Super Trooper. He on the rise, man. I was so happy too because, man, when this stuff happened, I seen you know, me and Super Trooper, we was in a rut. I had to grab my. Come on, Super, let's go, man. Let's get to work. And look and Super Trooper right around the corner. So you know, good things come to those that are patient. I never had patience growing up, and I had to exercise it now, right? And so, you know, just had to be patient. Had to keep working. And I really appreciate Super Trooper because he be coming up, rocking out, helping me create some epic lives, bringing the entertainment. I really rock with Super Trooper. And early on, when Super Trooper barely was finding out who I was, he always was solid with me from day one, man. I really, 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 really appreciate it, brother. I really do, man. Thank you, man. Y'all know I got nothing but love for y'all. And we're going to continue to work and grind and just keep, you know, trying to. Because my whole thing is, it's brothers that's watching us that want to get back in the game, or I might want to try it. And so we got to set an example of like, look, you know, if you don't got the personality, if that ain't it, you can sometimes will yourself into a good space just by outworking the person to your left and your right. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me see. We got Bville in the back. Hold on, here we go. Bville, what's good? Salute, brother. Can you hear me? Talk to me, man. Yo, Bville. All right, we don't got no audio coming out you, Bville. Hold on. Let me see. Did I got this? Yeah, but I don't hear nothing coming from Bville right now.
Can you hear me, Kay?
I can hear you now. What's up? What's up, Bville? Salute.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah, he said, he see where it says no fear entertainment, but there's no link next to it.
There's no link. Hey,
Yeah,
well,
that's what he said.
Can't you redrop the link? Can you drop it for me?
Okay. You want me to send a link to his phone?
Yeah, try that. Can you send that link to his phone?
Okay, hold on. All right. Okay, I'm gonna jump off. I'll send a link to his phone.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, we're gonna get it together. We're having a little technical difficulties, but we're still gonna hold it down, man. All right, you said, "Kate, I done messed your whole thing up. My bad, Super Trooper." All right, well, it says, "Gotta love Super Trooper." Hey, Super Trooper is one of the realest dudes in the space. Sometimes they say he could be too real, but they said that about me too, right? You know what I'm saying? So, Super Trooper does not hold back. I always been a fan of Super Trooper, man, because there's nothing wrong with, liking someone's work. You know what I mean? I know he will kind of push the envelope a little bit. And so I always be like, Super, heard you had an expensive weekend. He's like, yeah, okay, and I'm like, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I rock with Super Trooper because he's giving that raw, authentic content. And I rock with a lot of content creators. And now I'm at a point where I'm just trying to build bridges, man. I'm not trying to burn them down no more, man. Says I'm in green, fool. I got it. I seen that when I just clicked on it late. Salute, bro. Yeah, CJ, salute, man. Thank you. Yeah, man. Man, it feels good. I'm not gonna lie, bro. You don't know how, because I'll tell you right now, and Super could contest to this. When this stuff first happened to you, it's so many thoughts that run through your mind. And but I instantly, it's just like a light switch, just click right on. Like, all right, well, let's get to work, man. Let's get to work. All right, here we go, man. I got him. I see you. All right, let me welcome my guy to the stage. Give him a welcome. You know what I'm saying? The one, the only, Jerry Ice Reynolds. Yeah. What up, Jerry? You there? Oh, okay. We had him. He have technical difficulties. All right, so he'll be in a second, but it's my guy Jerry Iceman Reynolds. So Jerry, I don't know if you guys know, coming straight out of Brooklyn, New York. You know what I'm saying? Giving it up one time, former NBA player in the building. And he showed up to give us a dope live and get this live going, man. You know what I'm saying? And I just here to pick his mind and figure out everything that it took for him to get to where he was going in the lifestyle of an NBA player. Jerry, you there? Hold on. Why is mic ain't working? We have a technical StreamYard be messing up, don't it? There you go. I see you, Jerry.
Oh, there we go.
All right, cool. There you go. What up?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you now. I can
You
see
can hear
you.
me?
I see me.
Oh man. All right. So what you might have to do is drop down and come back up. You
Hello,
can hear me?
hello, hello.
Oh my goodness. Damn, StreamYard be messing up. All right. Let me go like this.
I guess it's on your end now because I
Hold
can
on.
see you,
Hold on.
but I can't hear you. Hello, hello, hello.
Yo, can you hear me now? All right, there we go.
I'm back.
Boom. Can you hear me now? You back?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. Let me remove that one. Boom. All right, we good. You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So StreamYard be messing up just a little bit, but we gonna get through it, brother. How's your day going, man? Good evening.
Oh man, good evening to you. My day is good, going well.
All right, I just want to say I really, really appreciate and thank you for doing this live for me. And let's work, man. Let me know when you're ready, man. We gonna get right to it.
Yes, sir. Whatever you got, man. Let's go.
All right, so coming up as a youngster, right? So for everybody to know, this is Jerry Iceman Reynolds, former NBA player, right? And so when you was coming up as a youngster, coming up, how did you find basketball? Because some people say, like did you choose basketball or did it choose you? Like when you was coming up, like.
Now, coming up in Brooklyn, New York, man, in the 70s, man, in the early 70s when I was a teenager, all we had was the summers. Because in the winter, it's too cold to be outside and playing on the streets and stuff like that, even though we had snowball fights. I'm just talking about sports-wise.
Right.
So sports-wise, once the weather broke in Brooklyn, we was outside playing all sports, two-hand touch, softball, stickball,
right.
ball, so I played all sports growing up. It was just that basketball was most fun.
Okay, so so did you have anyone in your life that was pushing you, like in your support system, like cultivating that dream or that drive to want to play, or you just say, like you said, you just going out playing?
Nah, not at all. My story is so much different from, I guess, people that didn't grow up in New York. You know what I mean? So, like, I never had nobody teach me how to play basketball. I just when I went outside, I saw what the other kids was doing, and I just jumped in and just I guess after a while I got good at it, and pretty much the rest is history. Then I started to grow, so it all.
So was you always like a good kid, or did you ever find yourself like maybe growing up in a tough neighborhood to where it was like, I got to do what I got to do to survive, or were you always kind of on the straight narrow?
Nah, we wasn't so poor that I had to supplement my mom's, and try to help, even though my dad wasn't around when I was growing up. But my mother, I was just telling my wife about how amazing my mother was. When I was a kid, she had 6 of us, and she was single, and she was on welfare, and it was like we weren't poor. I didn't feel poor coming up. You know what I'm saying? I had food every day. I was clean. We had a roof over our head. The heat never got turned off, and so I was poor, but we wasn't that destitute. You know what I mean? So, I had a good upbringing.
And then I'm pretty sure everyone that was around you was kind of on the same levels. Because sometimes when you poor, you don't even really know you poor because it's kind of normal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everybody in the hood is pretty much on the same level. You know what I mean? So
right.
But some were worse off than others. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, luckily, my mother wasn't, addicted to nothing, and her first priority was taking care of us, making sure we was clean and make sure we was fed. and make sure we went to school, get an education. That was my mom's whole upbringing with her 6 kids. You know what I mean? I was the youngest of 6, by the way.
Okay, the youngest of 6. That's a pretty nice sized family. 6,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because nowadays 2 was a lot.
yeah, exactly.
So back
way,
then,
way different now, you know.
right, absolutely. So you was coming up, and then you was playing basketball. Nobody taught you how to play. You just got out there, do your thing, and so then you ended up going to Alexander Hamilton High School, right?
That's right, in Brooklyn.
Right. In Brooklyn, and so you was playing out there. Is that where you reached your growth spurt? Like, what age when like that height finally took off? Because like you weren't always tall, right? When did that?
Nah. So it's for me. It's weird because okay, so when I entered high school at 14 years old, I was 5'9", 5'10", as a freshman, and then when I came back as a sophomore, I was like 6'3", and then when I came back as a junior, I was like 6'5". And then when I came back as a senior, I was 6'7". So that's when my growth spurt really started, when I got to high school.
And so how was it playing, like being like a thinner? Because I could tell you your physique right now is someone that is an in shape American, like, but you kind of thin and tall. So how was that like competing, you know, being like a smaller guy, but still tall though?
Well, it was tough, man, being a skinny kid. You know, I've always been slim. So, you know, I just had to pretty much get used to dudes being thicker than me, bigger than, you know, stronger than me and shit like that. So growing up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, when I moved there, I was 14, and that's like one of the worst neighborhoods in America. And so, right. You know, when I moved out there, playing ball outside in Brownsville was like I was playing with grown men, and you know, it was like no foul. You don't cry when you get fouled. You know, you don't even call fouls because the older dudes might want to beat you up and stuff if you even call foul. So I got used to being hit and tossed around and pushed around and not crying. So, you know, when I got to high school and especially college, right, dudes was 30 pounds heavier than me when I got to college, and they've been lifting weights, look like they've been eating Alabama cornbread and stuff all their life. And so I get there, I'm all skinny, you know, and they thought they was going to be able to just toss me around and manhandle me, but my talent and my heart, you know, they couldn't see that. So they learned after a while though that the slim kid was all right. The slim kid ain't scared. He tough.
All right, so I know like so you was, because they don't really know what you built of, your story, everything, you know what I mean? They just see a stint. So at some point, did you ever get cut like from your varsity team due to your size?
So that's an interesting question, because when I went to high school, I entered in with this point guard, this kid who I met in middle school, like in elementary, middle school, 6th grade. I met this kid and we winded up going to high school together, to the same school. And so when we get to high school, the coach lets him make the team as a freshman, and then he cuts me and tells me I'm too skinny. I need to come back next year, you know, and try it again next year.
Okay.
So I was pissed off about that. You know what I'm saying? Because he let my mans play on the team, right? My mans was getting run too.
Right.
And so I had to go back and play winter ball, you know, in winter rec league ball and stuff like that with this coach who was a great coach. Luckily, you know, when he sent me to play with that coach winded up being the assistant coach when I got to high school. So, you know, it was all good and I learned a lot. And when I came back that next year, I was pissed off and ready to, you know, to play.
That engine was fired up, right? Like
yeah. So, you know, I didn't start my freshman year, but I mean my sophomore year when I got on the team, but I did play. I was in the rotation.
Okay.
Then each year it just got better, you know.
Okay. And then so at some point you ended up going to Milwaukee, right?
Well, I went to college first. I
I
went
went
to
to college first.
yeah,
You went to LSU, right?
yeah, I went to LSU out of high school, and had a pretty good career in college. And then I left school early after my junior year and went to the hardship draft of the NBA.
So how was okay? Because I always wanted to know. So let's go back to the college thing. So you was playing in college, because I always wanted to know like what is the main difference between like college and like the pros? Because like you might think you good, you running the court on college, but then when you get to the pros, it's a whole different animal, right?
Uh, that's an understatement. You know, you come in all confident and shit coming out of college, and then when I got to the NBA and went to my first training camp with these grown men, it was a whole different tune. You know what I mean? So the strength was even tougher when I got to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? The size of the guys, the strength of the guys, the speed, everything was more once I got to the NBA.
Got you. Okay. And so now when you make it to the NBA, so take us back a little bit to like, so you're in college, and what is the process like of being drafted to the NBA emotionally? Like, you're trying to get to the league. What is that process like emotionally? Trying to get picked up on a team.
Well, my journey was I was drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks in 1985. After having a decent college, 3 years in college, I got chosen in the NBA draft, the 22nd overall pick by the Milwaukee Bucks.
Right.
And so, for a kid that, first of all, my mom's was hard of hearing. We didn't add that part. God bless the dead. I love my mom's, but she was hard of hearing. She lost her hearing the year before I was born.
Okay.
So, and then I wasn't in contact with my father. So when I got the urge to leave school early, it was like I didn't call nobody. I didn't call my mother. I didn't call my friends. I didn't call nobody. I just made the decision that I was going to put my name into the NBA draft, because really I had another year of college left to go, but I was kind of pissed off after we lost in the NCAA March Madness, which is going on now. I lost to David Robinson, who's a Hall of Famer. That's who I played my last college game against, was Navy against David Robinson, and we lost. And that's when I decided to not go back to school for my senior year and just try to go make it in the NBA. So I just made that decision on my own. I just came up, just nobody told me, yo, Ice, you can go to the league and you're gonna be a first round, and nobody never tell me nothing about being an NBA player.
Okay, so you just went in blind. Did you have an agent when you got drafted?
When I got drafted, no, yes, I had an agent. I had an agent by the time I got drafted, but when I was in college, of course, I didn't have an agent when I was in college, so I had to do all of that, quickly after I decided to make that leap from college to pro.
Got you. So for make that leap to, okay, so now I'm thinking like, what I got down here. So when you playing basketball and now you finally making it to the league, your mom's hard of hearing, and so you the man of the house early, right? I'm assuming. Did you have a lot of pressure in your back? Like, I gotta, like, you're not just doing it for yourself at this point, right? You're doing it for your family, or what? I mean, what comes along with like the excitement along to making it in the lead, and then the realization once you make it to the lead, like, you
Yeah,
feel what I'm saying?
so my mom's was my biggest supporter, my biggest fan. The first love of my life was my mom's. You know, her and I had the greatest relationship a son and mom can have. And you know, because out of her 6 children, I was the only one that she never heard. Like, she lost her hearing like the year before I was born. So my siblings
Oh,
all lived with her when she could hear.
right. Okay,
But,
dang. Okay.
but for me, my mother never heard me. You know what I'm saying? Because she was totally deaf by the time I was born. And so I grew up having to talk to my mother by looking at her, and she was able to read my lips. She never did sign language or any of that. But she knew how to read lips when you look at her when she's talking. When you talk to her, she could understand for the most part what you're saying.
Okay.
But it was special between her and I because that was my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So we knew how to communicate better than anybody else with my mother. So when I got drafted, man, it was definitely that was the first thing I wanted to do, was buy my mom's a house. Because, you know, that's what I told her I was going to do when I was in high school. I actually told my mother, Mom, I'm gonna be this great basketball player, and I'm gonna buy you a big house one day, and you don't have to worry about nothing no more. So when I got when I signed that contract and I knew I was going to be able to do that, that was probably the happiest moment in my life.
Oh man, congratulations, man. Like, that's why some people only see the success. They never see the struggle, or, you know, because a lot of people that I think for some people, for some reason, people think that people that are successful are weak people. You don't really get to success without being really strong, because it's like no one gets over that barbed wire fence without getting cut. You got to be a strong individual to make your way up the ladder, right? So
You got to definitely be ready to struggle and built for the struggle. You know, I think I was built for the struggle, and you know, I went through a lot growing up in Brooklyn, growing up with, you know, a mother on welfare, and my mother never worked my whole life of growing up. My mother never had a job. She was just on welfare because when she lost her hearing, she was disabled.
okay.
And so we just got a welfare check every month, and she made it work somehow, you know, to where I was clean. I had food, I had clean clothes, you know, I ate.
Right.
The bills was paid, even though we was in the projects. But, you know, when people came to my house in the projects, they'd be looking around my crib like, yo, who decorated this joint, you know? Like, cause my house was fly. It didn't look like we was poor.
Right.
You know? And cause my mother kept a clean house, you know, it was just, you know, and my boys used to come up to the crib and eat. My moms used to, you know, them old school moms, and my mom's was West Indian. She was her family's from Barbados. So a lot of West Indian food in my house growing up.
Okay. So you talked about getting that first check, right? Or like when your plans of getting that first check, what you wanted to do and all of that. So what actually happened? Like, what was the first big purchase you actually made, or significant purchase that you made when you got, you know, your NBA check?
Well, it's funny because the first actual check when I signed my contract, I signed a 3-year guaranteed contract. The day that I signed the contract, they gave me a $50,000 check that day just to get me started.
Okay.
And I had never seen anything like that before. So,
right. Because this is back in the day, 50,000
in 1985.
50,000.
They gave me a check with my name on it, and it said $50,000 on there, and I was like, for real? It's mine. That's to myself. I wasn't saying that to them, but
Right.
yeah, it's just the fact that I knew that my career was getting started when they gave me that check, and that check was pretty much for to buy me a car, to get me an apartment, and to pretty much get me started in my professional career and get me going. So I wasn't able to buy my mother a house right away, because back then, the money that a rookie salary was making back then, it wasn't a whole bunch of, it wasn't millions of dollars like what the kids get now. My first year salary was $130,000, and I was a first round draft pick. So it wasn't a lot of money. So I didn't eventually get my mother a house until year number 3.
Okay.
Year number 3, year number 4 is when I purchased my mother a house in Atlanta, Georgia. I moved out to projects in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and I bought a house down in Atlanta, Georgia for my mother. And that was like in 1988, 89. And that was a great day in my life too, because as a high school kid, I also, I told my mother I was going to buy that house, and the day that I gave her those keys to that house was a special day.
I would imagine so, because me growing up, the first thing you want to do is take care of your mother, or if it was your grandmother in your life, whoever that figure that was in your life, because it's different stories for everybody. You want to be able to do that because they've done so much for you and sacrificed, and everybody's not able to make it to that point to actually make that come into fruition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know that had to be a proud moment in your life that you were able to do that for your mother.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And and she was on the payroll, so every time I got paid, which was every 2 weeks, I shot her some. She had an allowance pretty much as well, so whenever I got paid, she got paid.
Okay.
So it was always a matter of her not needing for anything, and long as she was good, everything was good with the family,
Got you. So at some point, like I said, you end up going to was it Milwaukee?
Yeah, got drafted by Milwaukee Bucks and played there for 3 years, for my first 3 years. And then I got traded to Seattle.
Okay.
My 4th year.
Your 4th year. And how was that transition between being in Milwaukee and Seattle?
So Milwaukee was horrible. I didn't really like Milwaukee. And on top of that, in those 3 years, I didn't play a lot. Because back then, if you wasn't like a top 5 pick in the draft, then you were sitting on that bench and having to grind for playing time. You know what I mean? If you got some at all, you just got a little bit.
I'm glad you said that, because that was something I had written down. I was going to ask you, because so you make it to the league. Now, what's the next thing you got to check off the list? Like, I made it. I'm in the league. But now you got to figure out how to get some playing time.
No, it ain't nothing to figure out. It's because from day one, once you go to training camp, you gotta start earning your way. You gotta start, letting these older guys see, and the coaches see that I'm supposed to be getting some playing time. You know what I'm saying? So that practice for me, that was like the games for me, because I wasn't getting no playing time. So in practice, I was going in there to bust people's ass every day. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way you're going to get some minutes out here.
So is it hard though? Like, so you sitting on the bench, right? Starting off, right? And then when they first let you in, I'm sure they're not just letting you run. You're getting a little bit of time here, a little bit of time there. How hard is that to like perform in that little bit of time, make something happen in between? Because you're like playing in spots at that point, right?
Right. So it was so frustrating in those 3 years, man, to have to go to work every day, and then when the game comes, I'm not playing. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. So my rookie year, we go to Madison Square Garden for the first time, right? Because
Right.
Milwaukee and New York, you know, we were kind of in the Eastern Conference, so we played a lot. You know, I would go to New York a couple of times during the season. So the first time I'm going to New York, I'm excited. All my family in the building, blah, blah, blah. Man, I get there and don't get no playing time. I got people in the crowd, they yelling, yo, put ice in, put ice in. Yo, what's up? What's up? You know, I had all my Brooklyn people in there, and they was ready to jump on the coach. You know, my Brooklyn people come out of there. Yo,
so as a bench player, are you almost like, I don't mean this in a devious way, but are you almost like hoping for an injury or something? Because you need something. Because if things are just going well, that means you're not playing that much. So
yeah, so
they're going extremely well. It's enough lead where you can get some playing time.
And it was frustrating, man, because, you know, I'm not the cheerleader type. You know, some guys that don't play, you see them on the bench and they be rah, you know, da, 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 da. I used to be on the bench with the gas face, like, yo, I'm ready to get up here. I'm ready to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not happy about this. But, you know, I had to put on the game face and be a team player and have a positive attitude when I was there. And I knew my time was gonna come. You know what I mean? I just had to go through that rough 3 years, and then I got traded to Seattle, and now I'm playing for a black coach out there in Bernie Bickerstaff, right? And I always loved playing for black coaches because I had a black coach in high school, and so when I got traded out there, I was excited, you know, because it's a new start, new team, new coach.
Right.
And pretty much the same thing happened out there.
I'm not laughing, but I just know that this stuff happens and it's like not really unique. You know
nah, man, but you know, those 3 years in Milwaukee, playing with those veteran older guys taught me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Taught me a lot about the NBA, taught me a lot about patience, taught me a lot about, you know, taking no days off, even though you ain't playing. Don't come in here with no attitude, negative attitude. And so when I got to Seattle, it was another good team, right?
Right.
Xavier McDaniel, Dale Ellis, these dudes was all-stars. And they pretty much played the same position I played, so it wasn't a whole lot of playing time there either. So
it seems like you almost want to go to a bad team, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to. You want to see who's. That's what I think the mistake they made. You got to see who's over there when you going first.
Yeah, but it's not up to you. You know what I'm saying? So you got no control over that at all. Where you end up in the NBA.
Okay.
So I had 4 years of pretty much riding the bench, and like I said, my game time in those 4 years was practice.
Okay.
And so I took practice very seriously. You know what I'm saying? And it was funny because my older teammates used to be laughing at me in practice because I be going so hard. And in the NBA, the older guys that play a lot during the games, they don't practice a lot.
Okay.
So it's like they sitting in the stands chilling, and I'm out here working hard as a mother. You know, they laughing and shit. But so anyway, fast forward now, I spent 1 year in Seattle playing out west against Magic and Kareem and all of those people. And it was rough out west, but now Orlando Magic comes into the NBA as an expansion team.
Okay.
And I was fortunate enough to be picked by the Orlando Magic in the expansion draft. And now my life changes as far as me showing the Jerry Ice Reynolds that can play. Because when I got to Orlando, there was no superstars there. It was a new team. and everybody pretty much was starting from scratch. And there was no set starting five. There was no, it was nothing set in stone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so this opportunity was, we all the same when we got there in Orlando. Everybody's fighting for a starting spot now, not for playing time. We gotta figure out who's going to be the starting five and all of that stuff. And so I told myself, I'm a 4-year veteran at the time, and I'm like, I'm starting on opening night to myself.
Right.
I didn't tell teammates that, but in my mind, I was going to be a starter on opening night for this new franchise. And that's exactly what happened, thank God.
Okay.
For giving me the strength to, to hold my head for 4 years, not choke the coach or nothing like that. And go Sprewell on the coach. But yeah, so on opening night for the Orlando Magic, I was in the starting lineup.
That's what's up. So you was on an even playing field, and so you was able to secure a starting lineup spot and actually get to play and run that. And what was that feeling like to finally get there?
Oh man, it was a deja vu, man, and because I knew it was going to come one day. You know what I mean? And so once I got that opportunity, man, I played well. I earned a new contract when I got to my second year in Orlando. I signed my biggest contract of my career because I had such a good first year in Orlando. I averaged like 13 points a game and 5 rebounds, and I was a starter for the season pretty much. So that was a good feeling, man, to finally be recognized as a solid NBA player.
So when you say big contract, can you give us a idea, like a ballpark of like what's considered a big contract compared to when you first came in? Like,
okay, so I'll give you a scale of, okay, so when I first came into the NBA, I was making $130,000, right?
Right.
I said to myself, okay, so when I was making 130, the highest paid guy on my team that year was making 800 or 900,000.
Okay.
It wasn't even $1 million contracts at this time for the best player on the team. Wasn't even making $1 million. And so I said to myself, when I was a young player in the NBA, I said, I want to be $1 million player because the contract started going up every year that I was in there, and then like maybe 2 years in, I think Patrick Ewing got the first $1 million contract, or Magic Johnson, as one of those superstar guys, got the first $1 million contract. And so that was my goal, to be $1 million player, a year player. And so when I said I signed a big contract, I signed a 4-year, $6 million contract for the Orlando Magic in my second year.
Okay.
And so that gave me the first opportunity to make $1 million a year.
Got you. Okay. Are we talking?
So I went from 130 to $1 million.
So do they sit you down with anybody to say like, okay, we know this is, I'm pretty sure that was the most money you've made at that point in your entire life, right? At one time, do they sit you down with anybody and say like, as far as like managing your money, or it's like cut the check, do what you do, show up to work, and that's it?
Well, I had an accountant that was trying to steer me to put money here or put money there. But I was kind of always weary about people telling me what to do with my money. So I really didn't listen to anybody as far as people telling me what I should do. And I didn't have a financial advisor or anything like that back then.
Okay.
So I was my financial advisor. And
Got you.
I just made sure that I did the right thing with my money, and I didn't have any vices or drugs or doing any over drinking. I drink beer. I still drink beer, and I ain't no alcoholic or nothing like that. But
De La Rosa. Gotcha.
Now I got me a Stella. Yeah, Stella. So I never had any vices or anything, and I think I did pretty good with my money, for the most part. I made investments. I had bought a nightclub in Orlando.
Called Heroes, right?
Yes, sir. I had a place called Heroes Nightclub that was the most popping black nightclub in Orlando, and it actually came to the state. Like, it was the best black club in the state of Florida at one time. So pretty proud about doing that.
What made you name the club Heroes? How did you come up with that name?
Okay, so I was always thinking about what business I was gonna get into once I made a lot of money playing basketball. So I came up with it was either at a restaurant or a nightclub. And so I chose a nightclub, and then I was on a flight one day and I was thinking about what I was going to name the nightclub. And so I'm thinking, and I don't know what made Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing movie come into my head, but it was a scene in the movie when Spike Lee his man Bugging Out looked up he was in the pizzeria, he looked on the wall and he just saw Italians all over the restaurant. And he got mad and he told the owner, Sal, he was like, "Yo, Sal, why you ain't got no brothers on the wall up in here? We in Brooklyn, we in Bed-Stuy." And Sal's answer to this dude was, "Man, this is my fucking restaurant. If when you get your own restaurant, you can put who you want to put on the walls in your place." And that stuck with me.
Okay, I like that.
And so the reason I called it Heroes, and then that came to my mind, I was like, oh, I'm gonna put all of my black heroes and icons on the wall in my spot called Heroes. So Heroes was decorated with portraits of black excellence pretty much on the walls, from everybody: James Brown, Mandela, Miles Davis, Ella Fitzgerald, everybody. I had everybody on, Stevie Wonder. I had pictures of all of these people throughout the club. And it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful
thing. I want to
thing.
ask you about one in particular person, because I came across this photo, right? I don't know if you know it or not. I'm from the West Coast. I think you do know. We talked about it a little bit, but I'm from the West Coast. And you had run across this guy right here, the late, great Tupac Shakur, man. What was that interaction like? And also, what version of Tupac did you meet? Because we know, from what I understand, he was a complex individual. And so what version of Tupac did you meet, and how was that interaction?
It's funny, man. So that night, Tupac came into Heroes, man, and he was one of the many stars that came through Heroes. Whenever anybody was in Orlando, any stars, the question they would ask was, where the black people hang out at? And that would always lead them to Heroes. And so Tupac was no different. He comes into the club, and everybody's telling me, "Yo, Tupac is here." I said, "Well, bring him here." They bring him in. He comes in, I meet him and everything, and I see how short he is. I thought he was a little taller than that, but he was a short brother. He was real cool, man, just real respectful, down to earth. And he had a blunt in his hand. He was getting ready to spark it up while we was talking. And I was like, yo, no, you can't smoke that in here, bro. We at the club right now. You can't really smoke in here. So I took him to my office, or I took him to the VIP room, which was upstairs. And we sat down, chopped it up. He smoked his blunt, and it was a cool night.
Okay. So looking at it, I never really realized how short he was either, because I never really standing next to you, you're like towering over him. How tall would you say Tupac was?
I would say like about 5'8".
5'8"? Okay. And so I was taller than Tupac then. Okay.
But you see that vest I got on?
Yeah.
My sister Bashira, she made that vest, man. Every time I look at that picture, man, I Google at her craftsmanship, and she made that vest for me, man. It's always a special picture for me, man. Looking at that picture.
Okay. Why is your sister like no longer here, or she's still
No,
here?
no, she's still here, man. It's just that she sews just for a passion, just for a hobby. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
And that cloth that she made that vest out of came from Africa, and it was just just some special stuff. But yeah, man, that's a big shot to Tupac, man. Rest easy, my bro. Good,
R.I.P.
good
Tupac.
dude.
I
Yes,
always
sir.
wonder, man, because you hear these stories about him. Like, so at that particular time, I mean, were you were aware of who he was, and were you aware of his like reputation? And so was he a lot different than what you thought he would be when you met him, or at that particular time? You get what a question I'm trying to ask you?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think at that time when he came into the club, he was I don't think the East West Coast thing, the beef was had happened yet. He was an actor at this point, and I forget which albums was out, but he hadn't gone through. I don't think all of the troubles that he would go through later in his young life that that he faced later on. I don't think that had happened yet.
Okay, okay. Yeah, okay. So you had, not only did you have Tupac on there, you had some East Coast stars in the building, right? I ran across this photo as well. From the other side, hold on. Uh, Puffy and
Yeah, 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 yeah. Puffy.
man,
It's funny on this picture right here. That
hold on, let
picture
me
right
fix-
there. That was the night of Jack the Rapper, which was a music convention that they used to have in Orlando every year. And then when I had opened up my club, that was just like the meeting place for all of these celebrities and rappers and da 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 da. But this picture is before Puffy blew up.
Oh, this
He
is
was
before he blew up.
Yeah, yeah. This was before he was actually on the cusp of blowing up. He had Biggie. Biggie was in the club this night, and I'm mad that I didn't get a picture with Big, but Big hadn't made an album yet. This was before Big only was on one song at this time when this picture was taken. So Big was like a new artist at the time. A lot of people didn't know about Big because he only had one song out. That was the song with Super Cat that he had a guest appearance on a record that Super Cat made, and so he wasn't famous yet, but he was in the club that night, and I didn't get a picture with Big that night. And I'm kind of mad about that.
Got you, got you. Okay, but you had some, definitely. Your spot was like where you could tell was a place to be. Where, because from what I was heard, that like it stayed, the hours was, they stayed open a little bit later. You stayed open a little bit later or something.
Yeah, yeah. So we were in a black neighborhood called Eatonville, which is one of the. If you Google Eatonville, you'll learn a lot about some black history. If your listeners and subscribers would want to learn something about black history, Eatonville is one of the first black townships in America that had their own government, and they lived. It was in Orlando, but it was its own city within Orlando. If you get know what I'm saying, and so what happened with Eatonville? The club that I bought used to be a juke joint back in the day, back in the 50s and the 40s. It was on the Chitlin circuit where James Brown and BB King or whoever,
Okay.
black artists used to go into Eatonville because they weren't allowed to play in any other white establishments around Orlando. and then Eatonville had a hotel that was right across the street from Heroes, and that's where the artists and stuff used to stay at that performed in Heroes. I mean, it was called Mr. B's back in the day before I bought it. So when I gutted the place out, I found all of these posters with James Brown and the Flames, and advertisement. It was like flyers and stuff that I found in the club, and I actually framed some of those too. And so my customers got a chance to see vintage stuff from back in the day. But yeah, man, the club was great, man. Michael Jordan came through there. Sinbad came through there. Barkley, everybody, man.
Everybody that was somebody came through, huh?
Bobby Brown. I got a picture with Bobby Brown that he came in there too when he was the man. When Bobby Brown was the top dog.
The top dog, young Bobby, because Bobby used to be a wild boy. He used to like to party, didn't he?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay, so you said Michael Jordan used to come through there. I know you played with Michael Jordan too, right?
Yeah,
because I watched some games against him, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, not on the same team, but I was like, he was a little hustler on the court. He was like he was over there making your plays. So the thing I want to ask you, because I ran across something where Allen Iverson said he had described this thing where he said when he first met Mike, he said Mike had this like aura or glow around him about himself. Like, was Mike just a regular player to you, or was Mike like, yo, that's Mike? Like,
nah, so
like this little aura about him, or you know what I mean?
I had a different experience with Mike, right? So when I was in college, I played against Jordan. When he was at North Carolina, I played against him when I was at LSU. So it was different for me. When I looked at him, he was one of the top players in college basketball. The first year I played against him, my freshman year, he was a sophomore. And so I played against him 2 years in college. So by the time I got to the NBA, I had already knew him, you know what I mean? So I wasn't in awe of him or nothing like that, because I had already known. But I got to admit that he was different. He was way different from when he was in college to when he got to the NBA. But I looked at him as the same. I just looked at him as he just got better. You know what I mean? He just got way better from college to NBA. So I heard Iverson say that, and I heard other people say that when they saw him for the first time. But those were younger guys that came up after us that was in awe of him. You know what I mean?
So was there anybody that you came along that was a little further along than you was like kind of in awe, like, oh shit?
Yeah, man. Yo, true story, right? So Dr. J and Kareem was the two dudes that I was in awe of growing up.
Okay.
That I had pictures on my wall of Dr. J and Kareem and Iceman. Those was like my three idols in basketball growing up. Okay, so I meet Dr. J first. And that was crazy because, I went into the Sixers locker room the before game time. We was getting ready to play them for the first time my rookie year. And I wanted to meet this dude. I was so nervous, just to go meet him and shit. I was like, I don't know what to call him. Do I call him Mr. Dr. J or Mr. Irving? Well, I don't even know how to approach this dude. So I figured, I said, how you doing, Mr. Irvin? My name is Jerry Ice Reynolds, and I just wanted to come in the locker room before we compete and introduce myself and let you know that you was a big dude in my life, man, growing up, and to play against you is like an honor. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And so he was cool about it and everything. But fast forward now, I got to meet Kareem, right? So first time I play against the Lakers, I'm in the layup line, I'm warming up. And I look down on the other end, and they warming up too, and I see Kareem, and I never got chills in my body over no man ever in my life. And when I saw Kareem, I was like, oh shit.
With the sky hook.
I said, I said to myself at that moment when I saw him and I got chills, I was like, you really made it, Jerry. You out here with the big fella. And that's him right there. Oh man,
that was your I made it moment.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I must have made it if I'm out here with Kareem.
Okay. So you also play with some other great legendary players. A lot of players actually legendary. Shaquille O'Neal. What do you have any stories about the big guy Shaq? You know what I'm saying? Because you was coming off Orlando Magic, right?
Right. So what happened with Shaq was I met Shaq when he was 18 years old when he first went to LSU because we actually went to the same college. Okay, so fast forward now, I'm in Orlando, but I just got injured. I had a neck injury that caused me to retire. But before I retired, that year was my last year, and it was Shaq's rookie year. So I was actually in training camp with Shaq, and that was the first time I seen a 7-foot motherfucking break dance in practice. After practice was over, this big dude got on the floor. I guess somebody told the coach that he could break dance, and the coach didn't believe it. And he was like, "You want to see?" And he did. The man got down and break dance and was spinning on the floor. I was bugging out. I was like, "Yo, this dude this young boy is crazy right here."
Could you imagine Shaq doing this thing? Because Shaq is a big dude, right? Because you're tall, but Shaq is like
he's
tall
and big. And his locker was right next to mine. So I had always heard about how big his feet was, right? So I had never seen him in person. I mean, like I seen him years ago when he was in college at 18, but when he got to the NBA, that was a couple of years later. But I had never looked down at his feet when I first met him. So when he was my locker neighbor, he was right next to me because they put the two LSU dudes right next to each other. So I looked down at the man's shoes and I was like, yo, what the blood clot? Yo, I put my shoe when it was on my foot, which I wear size 13 and a half back then. And I put my shoe, my foot with my sneaker on, and I put it in his shoe.
Dang.
I was able to put my shoe inside his shoe with my sneaker on.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was a size 22. I had never seen nothing like that in real life.
Okay. So you was talking about the neck injury. I know that happened from Patrick Ewing, right? You suffered I think it came from Patrick Ewing, like a practice or something like that.
Yeah, I had two crushed discs in my neck from a play. Patrick Ewing landed on my head when I gave him an up fake. He went for the fake. When he was coming down, I was going up and trying to draw the foul, make him foul me, which I did. But he landed on my head with his midsection and snapped my head back, and it just about broke my neck. But luckily he didn't break my neck. And so I get up and I shoot free throws, and I'm in crazy pain. So I shot the free throws, and then I left the game, and turned out that I had 2 crushed discs, and I had to have surgery as a result.
Sorry to hear about that. G.
That pretty much ended my career at that point.
So let's go back, man. I know at some point you was a 50% free throw shot. At some point you was averaging 50% from the free throw line, and then you worked your way up to where you start averaging 80%. Can you tell how that story came about? How you what made you work to get it to the 80%?
Well, that story goes back to, I'd say, high school. I was a bad free throw shooter in high school, I was a 50% shooter in high school. I was a 50% shooter at LSU. And when I first got to the NBA, I was a 50% shooter when I got to the NBA.
Okay.
So when I get to the NBA now, my coach, Don Nelson, who's a Hall of Fame coach for the Milwaukee Bucks, he used to say to me, he said, Jerry, you know, I love the fact that you get fouled a lot. I love it. He said, but when you get fouled and you go to the free throw line and miss both free throws, he said, that's just like a turnover to me.
Okay.
And that used to piss me off. I was like, because nobody put it that way before. You know what I'm saying? It was like a turnover. Like you get fouled, but you don't get nothing out of the free throws. So it's just like us giving the ball back to the team, to the other team. So that shit used to piss me off. And as a result, I used to just shoot free throws after practice and shoot and shoot and shoot. And in the off season, I shoot and shoot. And then it finally became comfortable to me is what happened. It became comfortable where it became like a rhythm situation. And that's how I went from 50 to 80. My best free throw shooting year as a pro was 80%. So I'm very proud about that.
Okay, congratulations, man. Hard work pays off. I know you were part of breaking some records, right? I know you probably don't want me to bring this up, but we're doing an interview. But it was a good thing, though, because you're part of breaking a record. I heard about the Scott Skiles thing where you're hoping to break a record, but you probably didn't realize that was going on at the time, right?
Right. I didn't. I was out there. Listen, man, I was playing my game, bro. That's what I get paid to do. I don't get paid to be worried about somebody breaking a record. You know?
Right.
So as the game was going on, I was having a great game. As a matter of fact, in that game, I led my team in scoring. I had 27 points that game.
Right.
And so I'm a slasher. So when I catch the ball, my first mindset is to go to the basket.
Right.
And they were telling me to just shoot so I could get this dude another assist. You know, and I didn't know what the hell they was talking about. So I was just playing my game. And then eventually it was like a minute left in the game, and I finally caught on. And so he kicks me. We had a fast break, and instead of driving it, I just caught it and shot it. And it was like a 20-foot jumper, and it went in. I guess it was about 19 seconds left on the game.
19.6 seconds to be exact.
Yeah, when that shot went in, and that gave him the record-breaking 30 assists, which I really personally don't think will ever be broken in the NBA.
I seen him too. I was playing. He was throwing dimes. He was like magic on the court. He was doing his thing. I said, look at him.
I was and I'm still gonna push for a 30 for 30 on that game.
30 for 30?
A 30 for 30 ESPN joint on that game, because I think it's that significant that, you know, nobody's getting close to that record. It hasn't been broken, and that was in 1990.
All right, so we also had another record you had broke, right? Mr. Iceman. I mean, before I ask you about this record, I know they had another Ice, but I want to figure out how did you get the name Iceman? Was you like just cold, like, because you say I didn't care about the record. It seemed like you didn't play with a lot of celebrations when you just got back on D, or you got back, like you was just on the job. You wasn't like, it wasn't a lot of like, yeah, I did. You know how they be on the
yeah.
You were just cold with it, like, back on D, back on where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? Is that how you got the name Ice, or what happened?
It wasn't a lot of celebrating going on, you know, in the 80s or in the 90s, where somebody scored or whatever, you shook somebody. It wasn't a big deal. You know, today it's a big deal. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I got the nickname Ice from the 6th grade. I was like 12 years old. And during recess, we would go outside and play sports, whatever you wanted to play while you was on recess. And I would always gravitate to the basketball court with my buddies. And we'd be out there playing. And on this particular day, they said that I was making these weird shots, and I'm always making or taking these weird shots and stuff. And they said, "Man, you shoot like the Iceman." And I didn't know who the Iceman was at the time because I wasn't a big basketball fan at the time because it wasn't on TV a lot. You know, back in those days, we only had like 5 channels. We didn't have no ESPN, no cable, or none of that. So basketball didn't come on TV like that. So
Okay.
I wasn't really a big fan of basketball. Like I said, I didn't know who Iceman was at the time when they said that. But fast forward, I moved from that neighborhood and I moved to Brownsville. And when I went out to the basketball courts and was hooping, you know, and meeting new people in Brownsville, they asked me what my name was. And I always hated the name Jerry. So when I got to the new neighborhood and they asked me my name, I said Ice. And it's kind of just stuck. And then I guess I grew into people thinking that I looked like Ice and I played like Ice and stuff like that. So that's how it came about. And then to my what is it? My rookie year, I got to meet Iceman. I played against him my rookie year. He was playing with the Chicago Bulls at the time. And he was at the end of his career. I think that was his last year, was my first year. And, you know, God gave me that opportunity to meet this dude who people said I played like, and once I got older and found out who the Iceman was, I was like, damn, y'all think I play like this dude?
Nice.
I'm like, yo, that's a hell of a compliment right there.
Right.
You know? So when I got to meet him, man, he was just the coolest guy, man. And I said to him, I said, yo, Ice, you know, my nickname is Ice, and I don't want to mess your name up and stuff like that. And he told me, nah, young fella, don't worry about it. You got this, man. He said, you're gonna be all right. And that was enough for me. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Salute to the Iceman, Ice and Ice. Ice says, so also you set a record for 20 plus points in 4 consecutive games, a franchise record, correct?
Right, coming off the bench, probably.
Coming off the bench. Okay. So you set a couple records, man, and you was doing your thing. Now I gotta ask you, because back then, I think the mob was a lot stronger. I don't know if it was. Have you ever heard about the mob approaching anybody in the NBA or trying to, like, you know what I mean?
No, I never dealt with any of that, and it wasn't prevalent during my time in the NBA.
It wasn't prevalent? Okay, because I heard a story where they approached Muhammad Ali. They went in his locker room and tried to tell him, you know, and he was like, man, you better get up out of here.
Yeah. It didn't happen, man, in my career, and I'm happy it didn't.
Okay. All right. When you played ball, was you a? I don't think you was. I have written this question down, but I don't think you was. I watched a lot of your stuff. I was gonna ask you if you was a trash talker, but it don't seem like you was a trash talker at all. You was just cold as ice on the court.
Nah, I was just cool, man. I was cool with everybody, and you know, it was just work, man, for me. You know, I had fun doing it. I had a lot of fun doing it, but I didn't really talk shit unless you talk shit to me, because I found out that talking while you playing basketball is wasting energy. And,
right.
And I found out that you need all the energy you can muster up to play in this game. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't waste time or energy talking shit to nobody.
Okay. Now, if you got a story, tell me about a powerful moment that you had in the NBA. Like, you know, I don't know if you got a story like a powerful moment where it's like that you would like to share when you was going through the NBA. It could be something that someone told you, some advice they gave you, just something that really, like, you know, shaped your idea about you know,
Uh,
or interaction you had with somebody. You know what I'm saying?
NBA moment. Um, when I got picked up by the Orlando Magic, man, my life changed immediately, and because I saw opportunity, waiting for me in Orlando, and that probably was big for me. But I guess when I got injured and I had to retire, that would probably be the toughest decision that I had to make when I decided to retire as a result of the injury, and that was tough on me too.
All right, because normally you're you're in the NBA, so I would imagine this is like your peak earning. You're competing at a high level, and at the time it's your peak earning. And most dudes that stop competing, like just say a Floyd Mayweather, whatever, it may take them a little while for them to alter the lifestyle that they were living while they were earning at their max potential, and when they're not earning at that same level,
Right.
to like make adjustments. They can go 2 years before it hit them, but in that 2 years, you could have ran through I don't know how much money right before it really settles in that you need to cut back on your spending. Like, did you have to wrestle with any of those type of things, or?
Yeah, that was the rough patch in my journey, man. When when the NBA money eventually stopped, when that contract that I told you, that big contract that I signed it in '92, and it was a 4-year deal. So I got hurt in the second year of the new contract, and so I got paid as if I was still playing, even though I wasn't playing anymore. So for 2 years, I was still getting paid like if I was playing, because the contract was guaranteed. And so in '96 the contract ended, and that's the year that no, I opened the club in '92. So once I retired in '92, I retired and did the club thing. I took 3 years off, and I actually went back to play again after the 3-year layoff.
Got you.
Which was kind of a record too. There's not too many NBA players that retire 3 years and then come back and play again in the NBA. So I took 3 years off, and then I'm looking at my body, and I hadn't changed. My injury healed up, and I decided that I was going to attempt to climb back to the NBA level that I was at. And I was 35 years old at the time when I made that decision. And took a lot of work, but I eventually made it back within a year. When I started working out in January of '95, and then by December of '95, I got a call saying that they wanted me to come back to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
And that was a long journey, but it was a fun journey. And my man Ray Ross from Brownsville, he was my workout partner during that time, and we got it in, man, got me back in shape. And I went back and earned some more NBA money for one more year.
Get that cheddar, man. Get that cheddar.
Yeah.
So how was it having like a performance-based job? Because like you're playing, everybody's probably like, yo, you made it, man. Like, but they don't know that this job is contingent on you playing at a high level, you not get injured or hurt. Like, so I mean, did you even realize that when you were playing? And did you think about the money like that, or that didn't really process through your mind? Like, yo, I'm playing, but like this money ain't guaranteed to keep going because this and this and this can cut the money off. I can get hurt. I can get a career-ending injury. I can, if I don't keep up with the talent, you know what I'm saying, you could get cut. Like, how is that having a performance based job?
Yeah, so it was great having a performance-based job because of the work that I put in those early years in Milwaukee. Those veterans that I played around, like I said, they taught me so much that about your money and about your contract and how you gotta approach this shit on a daily basis and not fall off on your game, and so it's an ongoing process of getting better, uh, and so that's the mindset of a professional basketball player. It should be. That was my mind, that stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready, man. Only the
So when I went to practice, that was my get ready. That was get ready. So I ain't had to get ready when the game come. I'm already ready because I got ready in practice. So yeah, it's just a mindset that as a pro, because I actually went to Europe and played in Italy for 2 years after that 1 year return to the NBA, which didn't pan out the way I wanted it to, because I got back there and they want to sit me on the bench again. And I'm like, I ain't never been that guy. I really ain't happy sitting on the bench. So I did that when I came back that 1 year in Milwaukee, and then I went to play in Italy for 2 years after that.
okay. So you went and got you some more bread and didn't pan out, but it was still a good move because it was like, let me grab something else before I cash all the way out. And
Right.
then at that point you gotta make smart investments. Did you struggle with oh go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to play, so that's what the European move was about. I was 35 years old, but my body was good. I was still in good shape. Um, so when I went to Italy, I got to play. I was a starter. I was on the court most of the time, and that's my element. You know what I mean? So I was happy in Italy, even though I didn't speak the language and stuff like that, but I was learning and stuff like
Okay.
that. So it was a good experience. And then I got a chance to bring my mother over to Italy, and she spent 2 weeks with me, man. And she had never traveled across the water. So that was a beautiful time in my life.
Right. Okay. So I got another question, what I'm saying, to ask you, because we know, like, when you're, even in my life, right? Even in my life, I haven't accomplished the NBA stuff like that, but I've had my own accomplishments where you find yourself, and you might be making the max, your max earning potential, right? And you have friends. Like, did you ever have to fight with yourself or struggle with the idea that you can't bring everyone with you? You know what I'm saying? Or did you making it to the league, did it end up souring any friendships with like friends or family because of like maybe them dealing with entitlement, and like maybe you look out for them, but they're not looking at what you gave them. They looking at what you have. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I had a special family, man. I had 4 sisters that I grew up with, and we're still close, man. I have a close knit family, and I didn't take care of them per se, but whenever my sisters needed anything, they I let them know to not hesitate to ask me, because they've always been good people. Now my friends was another thing. I wasn't the type of friend that would just give money away. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so when I opened Heroes, I employed a couple of my friends. You know what I'm saying? So I gave them jobs, which I told them when I was in high school that if I ever make it to the NBA and make a lot of money, I'm gonna bring y'all. I'm gonna give y'all some jobs, and y'all gonna come rock with me. And that was a dream that actually came true as well. So no, I didn't have that those problems with the hangers on, if you will, in my life. You know.
Oh, that's good because man, that stuff is stressful because you be almost having like survivor's guilt. Like I know at least for me, you know what I mean? Like when you're doing the best out of maybe some of your siblings or your friends, and and it's always like, yo, this and that, and then you have to build up the resilience to tell them like, I don't owe you, brother. Like I didn't try to help you.
Yeah,
And right
I've
now,
heard
going,
the stories. I've
huh?
heard the stories.
Yeah, man, I done dealt with that, man, and it hurts you because like I've even been in a situation where it kind of messed up. It played a part of messing up my marriage, right? I don't, let's see how much I'll divulge. I'll just say because I grew up as a family dude. Family was always important to me, and then when you see one of your siblings always in a jam, and then the wife is like, "You keep running behind, and you need to let them. You need to focus on your family." And I'm
Right,
like,
right,
"Yo, that's
right.
my
I,
brother. What are
I
you
can see that.
talking
I can see
about?"
that
You know
being
what I'm
tough.
saying?
I can see that being tough. I can see that.
Right. And
But
so
I didn't have that. Thank God I didn't have to deal
yeah,
with that.
thank God, man. Cause it's like you can't even enjoy the little bit of success you having because you feel guilty. At least for me, I felt guilty about it. Like, dang, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
And
can
so,
see
like,
it. I can see it. I can
and
see
then
it.
and then when my stuff fell off, Jerry, right? I said, wait, forget this Survivor, Gil. Can I just get back to where I was at? You know what I'm saying? I said, I
Exactly.
would enjoy
Exactly.
it if you just give it back, Lord. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so man, I think so far as you being in the NBA, it looks like you were all around player, a hustle. You've been hustling and grinding your whole life. And okay, I want to ask you this. What do you think the difference between a good player, a star player, and a superstar? What is the difference? Like, if you can
Well,
unpack.
to be a good player is being in the rotation of your team, right? You're playing if you're a good player, right? You're in the rotation. Uh, a great player is probably the best player on the team. And a superstar is the guy that nobody, even the best player on the team, ain't better than this dude. That's might be on another team, but he's way better than the superstar on my team. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
like on my team, when I got drafted, this guy named Sidney Moncrief was the best player on my team when I got drafted, and he was a two guard, right?
Right.
And the year before I got drafted, he won the Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
Rewind, and Jordan came into the NBA in '84, the year before me. Jordan destroyed Sidney Moncrief as a rookie.
Oh
Sidney
shit.
Moncrief was the Defensive Player of the Year, and he played the same position as Mike. So they had to go head up once they saw
Right.
each other. Man, I felt sorry for Sidney Moncrief, man. That's how good Michael Jordan was. So it's just a level to it, where
Okay.
the best dude on your team can't come close to this dude over here, because this dude is a superstar for real.
Now, I want to unpack this real quick with you. So, speaking of Michael Jordan, was Michael Jordan, I know he destroyed the best player on your team, but was he as good as people say he is? Because when they say Michael Jordan, they say almost like the best of all time. They try to give him that, like he was the face of the NBA. Or
Yeah.
do you think some of it played a part that he got the shoe deal? I mean, not discrediting how great of a player he was, but he had the shoe deal. He had all the other things surrounding how good he was that just catapulted him where he can't be touched.
Yeah, so if you want to ask me who I think is the greatest player of all time, is I think it's a co-player with Mike being one and Kareem being two.
Mike and Kareem.
Yeah, for
Because
me.
you couldn't stop the skyhook, really though. Like that was an unstoppable shot.
Yo, Kareem was he won on every level, man. So Kareem just didn't get good when he got to the NBA. You know, Michael was good in college, but he wasn't like Kareem was in college. Kareem was like unstoppable in college. He was unstoppable in high school. You know what I'm saying? He was just different, you know. So, you know, but Mike, the way he got his GOAT status was so spectacular. That's why I put him in the number one spot. You know, Kareem sky hook was just that. You know, it was just the sky hook, and you couldn't do nothing about it, and that was that. You know what I mean? But Michael had so much. You know what I mean? He just had so much in his repertoire that you gotta give the GOAT to Mike. you got to.
So what do you think in the modern era does LeBron James stack up against Michael Jordan or even Kobe? Say them three: Michael Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron.
Well, LeBron is a great player, and he'll go down as one of the greatest of all time. But in my hierarchy, he's not in the he's not as players. I'm not talking about how many points he scored and how many years he played. I'm just talking about as talent. I go Michael, then I go Kobe, and I even go Larry before LeBron. To me, I put the prime Larry Bird before LeBron. To me,
okay.
As far as players go, you know, I hadn't said much about Larry Bird, but let me tell you something, man. When people ask me who the baddest motherfucker I played against was, because I guarded Larry, I didn't really have to deal with Michael.
Okay.
But that Larry Bird dude, man, whew, yo, he was special, bro. He was real special. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different, boy. That white boy he was the real deal. For real.
You never heard nothing special as Larry's, and look how long ago that was. You still don't hear nothing that really compares to Larry, even up to today. You know what I mean?
You know,
had John Stockton, but like even then, he don't compare to like Larry, right?
A lot of the young people don't understand, and they will never understand because, you know, they don't even really know what real basketball is, because they think what they watching now is real basketball. And to me, what they playing now is like a hybrid of basketball. It's not the real basketball. It's what some people got in the office and said they wanted basketball to look like.
Okay. I think I was like coming up more of a Kobe-ish type, because we just had it right. I'm like Kobe Bryant, fool. I'll make you forget about Jordan. No, I mean, I know that's kind of crazy to say because Jordan is, you know what I mean? The thing that I liked about Kobe, though, fearless dude. Like, fearless, play hard. Like, because I'm more about, like, he was just, I don't know, man, that Mamba mentality, bro. I was just like, I was in awe.
He was somebody that I was in awe of, really, because like you asked me about being in awe about Michael, I was really in awe about Kobe Bryant, because just the way he moderned his game, he patterned his game after Michael, and it was so obvious to me as somebody who played against Michael and watching Kobe play. It was like, this dude is really trying to be a Jordan prototype. You know what I'm saying? And he did a hell of a job doing
behind it. And he had because it's like one thing to try to emulate somebody, and it's a different to like put in the work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he put in the work. He definitely put in the work, and that's why I respected Kobe so much, because I never met him. I never got a chance to meet him. God bless his soul. But if I had met him, I already knew what I was going to say to him, and I was going to tell him. I said, if I ever met Kobe Bryant, I was gonna say, look, man, I never met you before, but I know how hard you have worked to get as good as you are. That's what I would have told Kobe, and I respect that. And I think you are a phenomenal player, and you the closest thing to Mike I've ever seen. Yeah, he was a bad boy. He was a bad boy.
All right, I know it's probably getting late out there in New York. I want to ask you a final question. What would you do? What would the older Jerry, the mature Jerry, and like in hindsight, go back if you could go back in time? What advice would you give the young Jerry? Like, what would you go back and tell that person when you was going through everything you was going through, trying to make it to where you was trying to make it to?
I probably, as far as my NBA career goes, I would have probably stopped chasing women and worked on my game more. Chase women less and worked on my game more if I could go back. Because I know had I done that, I would have been so much better at my craft than I was.
Okay, so you would have had more discipline and focus when it came to that specific area.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would tell my young self to stay away from them girls and stay closer to the gym.
Right. You got to be like Mike. When I say Mike, I mean Michael Jackson. He said he was like, he was so dedicated to his grab. He act like they said, man, what is Mike? What's going on with Mike? Nah, but it's a thing when it's like, I'll be blown away when I see someone that takes something they do that serious, so they put it before everything. Like it's dudes like, could those be the elite guys? Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson, Floyd Mayweather. I mean, like where they put everything. When you be thinking, I put everything, I gave it my all, and they look like I gave it your all, his all, her all. I'm gonna gave it all for real. You know what I mean? I left it all on. You know what I'm saying? And so it's difficult to achieve that level of dedication. But I do get what you're saying.
That's why I love the Mamba mentality, because I listen to Kobe and listen to how he used to work up and like wake up at 4 a.m. and do all of that kind of stuff. Man, I wasn't built like that. I was not built like that. 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm asleep, and I might not wake up until noon.
Okay. There, man. I don't know. So now that you're that part of your life has gone, what is like? What do you think? What is the thing that you wake up every morning where you like? Because I know you have to find something to say. I'll continue to. If I don't play ball no more, I'll wake up in the morning. I want to continue to paint on my canvas. What do you look forward to doing nowadays? You know what I'm saying? To like keep that, like I'm waking up painting on my canvas still.
Yeah. So nowadays, man, being retired, I retired in it'll be 2 years in May that I retired from working because I became a regular citizen. Once the rough part in life passed by, and so I retired and I got married. It'll be 4 years in December, and so that's what I wake up and think about now. Loving my wife, and I got a 15-year-old son now who's a freshman in high school. And so that's what my life is about now. It's just like focus on my son and my wife and my family. I got four kids, but they're all grown. My baby boy, like I said, he's 15. So and then my grandkids and it's all about family. It's always been about family for me.
And that's a blessing, brother. You had a great career. Got a great family. You managed to hold on and keep your family, because just having a regular job, it's hard to hold on and maintain a family, man. Like being a family man is very difficult. A lot of dudes fail at it. So I gotta tip my hat off to you, man. That because at the end of the day, no matter what you accomplish in life, if you fail in the family department, it kind of overshadows all of that internally. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm glad to see that you was able to do that. And hopefully your son, does he before we wrap up, does he got any basketball traits of the young Jerry, you know what I'm saying? Or do you
Yeah, I see a lot of me in him, and man, he's growing like a weed, man. Like, he probably growing right now. He's 15 and he's like 6'6.5".
okay.
And he's built just like me, just long and slanky and slim, and so he's growing up, man, and his goal is he said he wants to play for LSU in college, so we'll push him and try to get him there.
All right, cool, man. Well, I really, really appreciate it. I know you got the family. Like I said, I know we're on different times. I really appreciate you taking the time out your day and doing this interview with me, man. And I really appreciate it. Is there anything you would like to leave me with, or is there anything I didn't ask you, or you would like to just leave us with before we wrap up the interview?
Oh no, man, it's just a pleasure being here, man, and chopping it up with you. And I wish you all the success moving forward. And anytime you want to have me back, just reach out to me, man. I'm retired, so it's all good.
Okay, we gonna get this work in then, because my platform is all about entertainment. We got to get through the basketball, but I love to bring you on another segment talking about, you know what I'm saying, just all things that relate to entertainment, lifestyle, and what I'm saying. My channel is kind of diverse, and I try not to put myself in a box. You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of people in my particular niche, they kind of stay in like this niche, but I just was always one of those dudes where I didn't want to get typecast as one thing. Like, I'm not afraid to tackle any new ideas, and we definitely could work together, man. I really, really appreciate you coming up, man.
All right, man, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Jerry Iceman Reynolds. Yay. Thank you so much, brother.
Yay. I like that. Take care, man.
Yep. That boy Cole, the Iceman, Jerry Reynolds. Have a blessed day, brother.
Hey, you got to send me that little footage that you just had.
Oh, for sure, I'll send it to you, man. I'll make sure you get it, brother. If you ever need anything else, man, because I'll be editing videos, doing all kind of stuff, working on stuff. I would love to, show you some love back in return. And if you need anything, don't ask me. I'll definitely get that to you. I'll send it to B-Ville and make sure you get it. And then maybe I end up, we lock in. And if you need any help with anything as far as like content or just something edited, don't be afraid to reach out. I got you, man.
All right. Appreciate you, bro.
All right. Much love and respect.
Blessings.
Right. Yay. Jerry Iceman Reynolds came, he saw, he conquered. As you can see here at Camp 9, No Fear Entertainment is nothing we won't tackle, man. And I really appreciate Jerry for coming up, taking time out of his day, because we're on two different sides of the coast. You know what I'm saying? So it's later where he at, but I really appreciate him coming up, man. And what can I say, man? I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, man, over here at Camp 9, we always working, thinking of new ideas, looking for new opportunities. And the journey is one of those things that's just getting started, man. So don't ever count me out. Count me in. And you know what I'm saying? We working. Shout out to Teddy. Let me go back, because a couple people in the building, I didn't kind of get to read some of y'all comments real quick and acknowledge you guys. My bad. I was over here in the zone trying to make sure I didn't mess up the interview. All right, we have Melissa. Acknowledged her. B-Ville E, of course, my guy. Jersey Hitter, salute. The Wacky World, salute. My guy OG Will in the building. Salute. Thank you. Salute OG Will in the building. You know, OG Will is one of those guys that always gave me a lot of good advice when I was going through something. He definitely helped me level out my plane. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's good to have good people in your corner, man. Who we got? Bravo J in the building. We got my guy Aiden, the number one moderator of Camp 9 in the building. Salute to Aiden, man. Salute to OJ Duke Jackson. He says, K9 appreciate all the support. Oh, yeah, we definitely appreciate all the support, man. And like I said, man, we over here rocking. And when you guys say, you know, K9, we want to show us some content. We doing content, brother. We gonna do the content. We gonna keep it rolling, man. And we're over here, man. We're not gonna be afraid to go outside the box. And like, I'm not afraid to do anything outside my comfort zone. That was the first time me doing an interview like that. And I look forward to doing more and just sharpening up my skills, man. And before I leave and exit the building, salute to Razor Rays, man. One prolific interviewer, prolific guy. I learned a lot from watching Razor Rays. You know what I mean? So Team Rays all day. Salute, man. And I'm just trying to improve my game, man. And I hope I didn't do the hopefully I did the interview justice. Hopefully you guys appreciate it. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous because I didn't want to you know me, I don't like doing a bad job. All right, he says this is perfect example of all that numbers in the chat doesn't define great content. Absolutely, man. I appreciate that, Romeo. Yeah, man, because I think a lot of dudes they let see, you just gotta work on the things you're passionate about. You know what I'm saying? That's just the most important thing. I mean, work on the things you're passionate about and don't be afraid to take chances, bro, because you never know what can happen. But you're absolutely right. Sometimes numbers don't define, you know, what's actually going on. And then, you know, people have to grow with my content. You know what I'm saying? I know they expect me to all the time to be traveling, the ladies. But like I said, I'm a man of many things. You know what I mean? And I like to do different type of style interviews as well. He says all about his experience with the groupies at that time. Oh, you want? He got a wife. I wasn't gonna ask him about that, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure his wife was nearby. Salute to the you know, the lovely Miss Reynolds. We wasn't gonna do all that. No, but it, you know. All right, it says NBA, no babies allowed. Troll accounts are free game. Be respectful. Okay, who else do we want to there's a lot of you guys in the building. Salute to Teddy, man. They said I'm gonna skip down real quick. K9, that was nice. You love the interview? Y'all thought it was good? Nice guy. Okay. K9, great interview. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna wrap this live up and I will come back and reboot another live because I don't want to make this a long live. I want people to watch the full interview. To the next time, it's your boy K9, No Fear Entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And we out.